You certainly do. The bans are going to start coming through here as well, though. LeBlanc going to be taken away by Snake, and Style and Royal Club, they do not want to see the Draven out of Crystal, and Crystal might be the focus here as the Cogmore ban comes through. Zero's Nautilus is going to hit the bench as well, but this is a very AD carry focused ban phase here for Royal Club.
I don't feel like we've ever seen this because, I mean, AD carries to a large degree are interchangeable, so you don't usually see multiple AD
but it's often the Kalista
bans.
Cogmore coming through as well, not so much the Draven as well.
But multiple AD carry bans theoretically should open up a lot of comfort champions for Barker. We've seen Azir back into the meta this season, this week in general, and his Xerath is no slouch whatsoever. So between Azir and Xerath, with only one ban left, the Shurima pick should be available, or at least considered for Snake.
Yeah, and we'll see whether it is going to be the first pick. We haven't seen Korn go back to that Azir at all so far, 5.6, but we'll see whether he is going to opt into that one if that one gets through here. Janna going to be banned away from Ella. That is definitely an understandable ban, and Snake, they're almost shoehorned into picking up the Thresh here as well because, of course, Zero's so strong on that champion.
I mean, look, Zero has been playing other champions, playing with the Nami and other picks, so not necessarily going to be forced into it first pick.
True.
But Kalista's available. Kalista's often locked in, and it's insta-locked in this situation. With the two AD carry bans, they could reliably expect a first pick Kalista, so I have to think they've got a comp to work around a Kalista lock-in.
Yeah, and Cola going to start by picking up the comfort pick Hecarim for him. Of course, played it in 2 of the 3 last games that Royal Club have played. Hasn't moved over to the Smite just yet. Does still have that Ignite up there just for the lane pressure. And Snake probably looking for a lane swap this one as well. So Cola wanting to take that one in there. Blank looking at the Rek'Sai here as well. Hasn't shown us too much. But it is going to be the Cannon locked in, and with the Janna banned away, that is a much more comfortable pick. But Beast, he can now possibly pick up that Gragas to try and get that Slicing Maelstrom out of there.
And look, you can already see the Gragas being hovered. That's the most reliable way to disengage Cannon. You can, of course, flash the Tidal Wave as it's channeling. So Gragas with the instant cast effectively of the Explosive Cast makes the most sense in this situation. We have to expect its Cannon support. I mean, we'll respect it as a flex pick for now, but as it continues to be a more reliable support pick or a more staple support pick, probably not going to be so much favor. Just like the Gragas, could be played top, but almost 100% going to be played jungle.
Yeah, and especially when there is a Maokai here as well. This isn't OMG. Low still not here. And so
free Low.
Yeah, I know. They got to free him. And that support Maokai was so incredibly good
100%
too.
100% win rate.
100% win rate.
One day we will see it again.
Yeah. Oh, playoffs. It's happening. I'm saying it right now. And over on the Star and Royal Club side, of course, with Insect no longer on the team, you're not going to think that horsey is going to be heading into the jungle, and especially not with Rek'Sai being hovered over here by Korn. And we'll see what Name decides to go
available
with.
to Snake, and they actually prioritize Gragas over Rek'Sai. We've seen Rek'Sai banned still pretty consistently this week. Name has his choice of AD carry, usually likes to go for the more mechanic-intensive carries, but seeing Kalista, we've seen one consistent factor. It's usually looked like the Urgot's the pickup, but the last second change to Jinx, he goes from the anti-AD carry to one of the true hyper carries of the league.
And this is what he's seen the most success on as well. Definitely scary coming through from Name and Snake. Now up to them to round out their lineup. Ella is able to pick up the Thresh if he wants to. Of course, the support pick already locked in here for Royal Club. He knows that he's going to be against that Cannon, the purple bottom lane coming through from those guys.
The synergy.
And Barker is thinking about a Nidalee. That is a hover at the moment, but Karthus definitely going to make a whole lot more sense. Has actually played that one before. A new one to his repertoire, despite being a relatively old champion, and that's going to be the lock-ins.
So they see on the Snake side the fact that Cannon's likely to dive. Rek'Sai and Hecarim, both melee champions, going to dive the backline. But with Jinx in this lineup, they need some semblance of dive themselves. So, of course, Karthus doesn't work that well against Jinx. Works great against the other 3 picks. I think committing to Ahri in this situation, despite it being a very strong laning matchup, there's quite a lot of downside here because there's always a situation where Ahri dives in and just dies in the middle of the Defile. One of the strongest laning matchups we've seen consistently throughout the history of League of Legends is this Vladimir pick. So they just have to assert, does Vladimir suit their comp? And, you know, with the big dive coming through from Cola, if you get that snowball Trinity Force, the burst damage with the Vladimir will be massive. Of course, Vladimir can pull the Requiem, so Vladimir's the pickup, and I like it a lot more.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of extra damage with that Hemo Plague and the Slicing Maelstrom, despite the fact that Zero is a support player. We've seen him build Zonya's Hourglass as his first item, still going to be doing relevant damage.
I mean, look, I really do like the comp coming through in Star World Cup. It deals, especially with the Karthus, you kind of always have to respect. We saw in the EDG game yesterday where in a 4v5 situation, Pawn was able to put massive damage out. And that 4v5, that was without the AD carry. That was the single member missing. You'd expect there not to be enough damage, but in a very late game fight, Karthus able to put out so much damage. Have to comp around it. I like the Vladimir pickup, and as we go through the lanes, about as standard as you can be in the top.
Definitely very standard. Flandre going back to a super comfort pick there on the Maokai. And Beast, he's going to be taking his new favorite Gragas in against the sort of standard Rek'Sai here, of course, often picked up when it's left open. And Barker, the consistent damage mid lanes into Korn here on the Vladimir as well. That's going to be exciting to see. But this is the matchup that I'm really interested about. Kalista into the Jinx. Jinx with the massive amount of range, the late game hyper-scaling abilities. And then with Zero on the support Kennen once again.
And look, we have to wait and see just how much presence support Kennen will have. Will they go for a 2v2 to start the game? Will there be a lane swap initiated? That much is unclear, but the Jinx versus Kalista, level 1-2, probably going to be not that great for Jinx, but as she scales up, as the ultimate is available, expect that Jinx to really accelerate ahead in the 1v1.
Yeah, we'll see whether that's actually going to happen here as well, because of course Crystal has done incredible things on the Kalista in the past, and if you're going to have a 2 damage threat comp, Karthus Kalista, a pretty decent way to do it.
And it was only a couple of weeks ago where just that Kalista was enough to force Vici Gaming to surrender at 24 minutes. Such was the power of the Crystal Kalista. Something to be feared.
Well, let's see if it happens again as we hop onto the Rift. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Flandre already flashing here on the top side of the map to start things off as Snake take on Royal Club. Already the Tremor Sense letting them know exactly where that tree is. Name going to take a bit of damage here from Crystal as well. And things starting off a little bit dicey here on the Rift, Papa Smithy.
Yeah, the flash completely out of context just jumped into the game. So not sure what prompted that, but one summoner definitely down there for Snake. Worth noting that Jinx actually was an undefeated champion for Name coming into this season. Only has the 1 loss in the history of competitive on this champion. So is definitely a priority pick for Star and Royal Club. Didn't necessarily fit the lane matchup in this situation. Of course, Urgot would have been the prototypical try and smash Kalista in the early laning phase. Gone for the Jinx, fits the comp in general, and it's something to be feared.
Yeah, Royal Club just playing for comfort here as well. And when these games are really coming down to the wire, when there's nerves to really be taken into account here, then going on to the comfort picks definitely going to be working out. And a lot of these players, especially Korn and Kohler here as well, their last play champions have been the Hecarim and the Vlad. So more than happy just to let that muscle memory continue where it was.
And so the last time we saw Karthus actually in a counter matchup, we saw the Karthus versus Ahri matchup. It was a jungle snowball gank from the likes of Rek'Sai that really changed this laning phase. And of course, Karthus can get ahead in difficult lanes if he gets a snowball, if he can get a big item. Of course, that was, of course, Assassin from King picking up a snowball Giant's Belt to cancel out the Ahri. It's not quite the same situation here with Vlad. Vlad still needs to get going in terms of levels to really be strong. So expect it to be a quiet laning phase in the middle. And Vlad, of course, can happily skill pull at level 2 and just be immune to most sorts of ganks. Yeah,
generally an ungankable champion, especially with the fact that he's taken the double escape summoners here as well. Has Korn, has been doing that very, very recently as well. Is Blank going to be taking away the enemy red buff here as well as some vertical jungling going to ensue from this lane swap that has occurred this game, wanting to get the Jinx out of the Thresh Kalista lane that we saw M3 sort of make that rise to prominence with Candy there in the AD carry position, really making that Thresh Kalista lane terrifying if they get the early level advantage.
So that's why it's actually quite surprising that it's Snake that initiate the lane swap in this situation.
That's a very good point.
I very much expected them to opt into a 2v2, or at least look for a 2v2, force the lane swap through from Star and Royal Club and give themselves dragon control, because of course Snake have always been a team to prioritize early dragon control. Beast loves to play the Nunu, start chomping on that at level 2. But in this situation, it is a blue side lane, so you can tell because it's the duo lane that was in the top. Although not a duo lane right now, as we can see Ella going for a bit of a walk.
Yeah, going for a wander there as Blanky's going to find Barker, or Barker's going to find Blank. The Defile is going to be on there as well. Blank taking a bit of damage, but doing a whole lot back here as well with those Qs. Oh, in fact, Ella, he makes it to this lane. Descent lands onto Zero. Flandre's here as well. 4 members of Snake just collapsing on the situation.
And it's the standard 3-minute, 8-man mid gank.
Yep, that's exactly what happens. And Korn and Barker just feeling like they're very popular here in the mid lane, as Blank going to be able to take away that Rift Scuttler, and Zero just going to hang out in this little brush in the river.
It's interesting to see that Maokai and Gragas are both on the side of the jungle that Starhan Royal Club were jungling on. So in this situation, they can't expect to find any camps. They just want to enter lane. Even though the freeze is on, they do have ranged wave clear. So much ranged wave clear for a jungle top tank duo, especially between Maokai and the barrel roll from Gragas. They should be able to start to push this lane in if that they so desire.
Yeah, and they are going to get the barrels out there as well.
Look
Saplings coming through as well. The explosions of all of the creeps, and that freeze is most definitely broken.
And when we saw Gragas come back into the meta from the jungle, I said it's unique to have a jungler with ranged wave clear. Maokai always had the best ranged wave clear of any of the 1v2 top tanks. So between the two of them, wave control definitely one of their specialities.
Yeah, and I was saying that the freeze was broken. It's actually been sort of extended here, assuming Royal Club can tank this one out, but we'll see whether Snake can move that one towards the turret and get the reset that they're looking for.
And Gragas was one of the worst nightmares of any solo queue player, the smite of the tank minion, but actually very useful in that situation.
Most definitely, especially when you're not too worried about who picks up the gold on your team, because everyone playing for each other. It's a beautiful, friendly experience here in the competitive League of Legends scene.
You're making viewers jealous here, Atlas.
I certainly am. Zero going to be throwing out some shurikens here as well on the bottom side, just trying to be a menace. Of course, Mark of the Storm was spinning around on Beast for a moment there, but not going to be hanging around for too much longer. Of course, this unorthodox duo of the Gragas and Maokai have kept in league of the levels, which is definitely important, as Blank is going to pay a visit towards this top side. And the 2v2s ensuing on both sides of the map here, the jungle going completely without a look in.
Yeah, all the minor camps on the Snake side of the jungle are actually available. I mean, just nobody's been doing any jungling recently, so every single camp available in this situation. Just the result of Snake wanting to try and end the freeze to enter lane and get as much experience as possible. Gragas has a very strong level 3, level 4. It's gank comparable to the likes of Lee Sin, so it's surprising to see him opt not to involve any skirmishing. But the kill pressure in mid lane is super low pre-4 from both solo laners. And it just feels like at the moment, just helping Maokai out is the best use of Gragas' time.
Yeah, although Korn went down very, very low there in the mid lane. A 10 CS gap has actually been formed here as Zero looking for Flandre. Nice dodge. With that shuriken there, is Korn going to make it back to lane here as well. Kohler going to get rendered, but that's about all that's going to be happening, as Crystal does have a little bit of a level advantage, going to get that Fate's Call relatively soon.
I mean, look, the kill pressure from Karthus is now level 6, so of course has the Requiem, but it's traditionally very low in early levels. Vladimir offers no CC, barring the pool, so again, not the best champion to gank for. Too far away from the top lane to make the impact, so I don't mind just spending a bit of time in bottom. Not the worst use of your time if you're Beast.
Yeah, Barker back to this mid lane now, going to continue throwing Skittles at the minions, and not a whole lot going to be going on here, as Korn's just going to do the same thing but with his Q.
And we're just looking for late game, both Barker and Korn in this situation. They're not looking to rush anything. No aggression whatsoever. Vladimir has the Hextech Revolver, so now is completely immovable in lane. I feel like he should be pushing in Karthus and really causing a bit of pain for him, especially with his summoners both available in this situation. But they feel, at least Star and Royal Club, there's enough pressure in mid to start the Dragon.
Yeah, Barker is level 6, so Requiem is available here if they want to get something going on. Blank actually going to get Death Sentence there, and Flayed back as well. Takes a bit of damage, but this Dragon should be belonging to Royal Club. Actually, they're going to back away, really respecting Beast, as Flandre's coming towards this bottom side as well. Didn't use the teleport. Dragon going to reset back into the pit. Beast being very comfortable, steals it away, no worries. Can they get more from this one as Blank very, very low. Picks up the kill onto Flandre, but falls to the Requiem. There's the Hemo Plague as well. Wall of Pain coming through. Korn right in amongst this one as Ella. He's going to be the sacrificial lamb, but the double kill to come through now as Kohler falls down. Blank about to respawn. Zero very, very low. Barker looking for it. The Defile trying to do some work. Name being ignored on the backside. Zero. Is he going to escape? It's going to be the auto attack, but it's going to mean that Name is going to pick up his first kill of the game and gets the shutdown for it.
Just an insane duel coming through between the members, especially at the end, not respecting Barker's early damage. Karthus, if you're hitting those Skittles, if you're hitting the lay waste, the early damage is insane, the base damage values. So although he wasn't able to kill Kennen quick enough to potentially get the 4th kill onto Name. The end result is 3 kills onto Karthus, and snowboard Karthus. It seems to happen so frequently in the LPL.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Assassin's Karthus exactly the same. It looks like that's what Barker's going to be going for here as well. He did build the Giant's Belt, but then sold it, or bought it back there instead to pick up that Blasting Wand.
And now he's overextended.
And now he's most definitely overextended. Of course, the teleport to come through here from Flandre, but Zero's come around as well. Barker definitely going to die. We'll see whether that Death Defy can get him anything. The eventual Maelstrom to come through. Flandre taking a lot of damage, but Zero has a support cannon. Not going to really have enough to kill him just there, but a nice kill now for Royal Club. 3-5 now the kill score, and it's a cheeky 1,000 gold lead here for Royal Club.
Yes, cheeky gold lead sounds about right. I actually really do like this Riley's tier build that has become Assassin, and now Korn is starting to pick up. Rod of Ages has that, charge time. It's still not as impactful in the early game. You get an earlier power spike on a champion who's already so relevant in the late game that, you just cancel out some of the early game farming situation. Get yourself a Riley's that makes you a pick machine, because of 35% slow on every lay waste on a 1-second cooldown. That's a pretty good ability. Name takes the bottom turret, but the Snake are going to answer it in top.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to kill this entire wave as well. If Crystal wants to tank a turret shot for it, decides he doesn't even want to take it down just yet. In fact, hasn't been back to base and has forged himself a 30 CS advantage here by just sitting in that top lane forever.
Of course, he wasn't involved in all the shenanigans around the
So
Dragon
many
Pit.
shenanigans.
So, of course, he's picked up CS in advantage. You compare a kill and 3 assists to 32 CS. Probably the CS just adds up, but, we're going to start scaling into late game very soon. We'll tab over to the gold at some point, I'm sure, to confirm that. But Kalista, she wants to start getting her 2-item core going. She might get punished for it, though.
Not going to happen now, as Ella was right there with that Dark Passage. Blank coming around is going to see the ward, but is going to reveal himself there as well, as Ella gets the ward down, but there's a pink already in that brush. And they're setting up the protection here for the Jinx, who really wants to be able to take down this second outer turret for Royal Club. And they've been using their Jinx very, very well for this reason exactly. Taking down the outer ring of turrets as quickly as possible, getting that global gold advantage, using that Gatling gun to do it.
I mean, look, you also have to talk about the fact that with this Kennen Jinx lane, you're talking about 550 range. Kennen has a very good auto attack, so of course is very strong at helping Jinx mow down the turrets himself. Can do it from relative safety. At this point, no one's there, so can get happily into minigun form. They basically completely DPS down this turret, but 3 members of Snake look for the engage, but Death Sentence goes wide.
Yeah, Ellen not quite able to find it, but they do save the outer turret there on the top side. Crystal returning to lane now with a Bloodthirster. So managing to save up a massive chunk of change here. So we'll see whether Snake are going to be able to put on the aggression in this lane. Because, of course, the Cloak of Agility BF Sword not going to quite cut it in response to that Bloodthirster, just because it gives you so much presence in lane, and you can force the trades that you really, force any trades that you want, just because you have that lifesteal advantage.
But they have very similar goal values, so you can say that Jinx does have the Berserker Greaves, which help her in rotational play, helps her take turrets. Clearly, Name is prioritizing early turret taking over laning phase, and Bloodthirster, that's all about the lane.
Yeah, but look at this. Crystal going down incredibly low. Name picks up the kill here as Blank comes in. Beast a little bit slow on that one. Explosive cast coming through. That's going to be the Requiem kill onto Name. Blank still very, very healthy. Ella not going to find the death sentence. Zero again on barely any health is going to escape. Korn looking for it. Hemo Plague there. Ella going to flash away, but he is most definitely dead. Korn just leaves him on that one. Beast looking for some slows. He's pretty tanky. Has a bit of a drink here as well. Karthus going to come through with the Wall of Pain, but it is going to be a 2-for-1 in the end.
But you see the effect of the snowball. That Karthus auto did much more damage than I expected. Was enough to take down Name with the early blasting one. Of course, if that was a catalyst to go with the tier, wouldn't have had the AP to take down Name. So you start to give Karthus kills, and the flow-on effect doesn't even need to have global pressure. Just have to press the ultimate to have any semblance of teamfight involvement. Karthus getting big is a scary thing for Starhorn Royal Club.
Yeah, terrifying prospect. And of course, the gold lead only in 1,000 at this stage, as of course those turrets were answered by both teams.
We're expecting Jinx to try and push in this top wave. At the moment, looks like freezing, perhaps to force Kalista to rotate with a build that doesn't really open up rotational play. Only boots one in the Bloodthirster. Definitely looking for a long lane instead. I see your exclaim coming through. That's quite a lot of AP items completed on Karthus.
Yeah, and all of his CC as well. The utility to come through from that Rylai's, as you mentioned earlier before, was Something that I'm quite frightened about for Starhorn Royal Club entering this next Dragon battle that you have to think will be erupting very, very soon.
It's so different from what Pawn did yesterday in the last series of the night. Of course, he was going the Catalyst build and was looking to build a Rod of Ages last at 50 minutes. Instead, you're getting the Rylai's last at 50 minutes. Now you're getting a Rylai's finish at 12 minutes into the game. Again, more pick play coming through from the Rylai's build and the CC. It's not just the Wall of Pain, it's every single Skittle, but the onus is definitely on Barker. We already saw a couple go wide when he was trying to get the exit kill on Zero. He needs to be hitting his skill shots, and a couple of weeks ago I would have said that's easy, but we've seen him miss skill shots even on his fabled Xerath.
Yeah, well, it's true, and those Rite of the Arcanes weren't really working out for him. Of course, on the Karthus this time, we saw him struggle to hit the cannon, and Royal Club, they're wasting no time. They're going to start off this Dragon. Of course, that is a teleport Karthus in the top lane. They're going to teleport behind here as well. It's going to be a lot of Defile damage coming in as Ella makes his way in there as well. Look at all of the AoE as Flandre's going to pick up the kill. The Slicing Maelstrom trying to get some work done, but my goodness, Snake are ripping through Royal Club. Korn trying to get some work done, does finish off Crystal, but the rest of the members of Royal Club are just falling one after the other. Some low health bars means that Korn might be able to get something done as the Wall of Pain comes through. Just trying to dodge out the Skittles. This is an awkward situation now for both sides. I
feel like you're getting to see your iron, so a bit of practice on the layways coming through, but it was just an awful team fight opted in by Starhorn Royal Club. They knew that Karthus was coming in the bat. Their choice was to try and collapse on top of a Karthus who's happy to die in the middle of an enemy team fight. You should not be using your Onslaught of Shadows to try and get on top of a Karthus. The fight actually continues.
Yeah, Blank actually taking a lot of damage here. Flandre, though, is going to go down lower, says Barker. He has the Death Defy. Blank is most definitely going to die if he uses this Requiem. Korn trying to use the Q, gets enough health back, but Blank is going to die. It's a 2-for-1, though, at the end of that one, which I think evens out the trade.
Which is crazy.
No, one kill still up here for Snake.
Yeah, one kill still up. We're waiting to see how the Dragon shakes out. That's the big objective to speak about. This fight, it never stops.
Yeah, Ella actually going to get Fates called out of that one. Going to get himself closer to that Dragon Pit as Crystal going to take away this red buff here as well. The Dragon going to be started by, I believe that was Beast, which is a bit of an interesting one. Another teleport in behind Starhorn Royal Club as the Zap's not going to find Flandre. Oh, Chomper's not going to land in time either as Name. He's going to get desensed and destroyed. Beast takes him down. And Royal Club without the jungler, of course, no Void Rush available. And Korn very, very low, and no Name means that the second Dragon gonna go over to Snake.
Yeah, 2 minutes 40 into this Dragon fight. Finally, we see the Dragon actually fall down. Starhorn Royal Club, hold your heads in shame. Never initiate.
Oh, Cola gonna get taken down by Ella here as well as Crystal's gonna pick up that kill easily with the Rend. And they're just going to head back and keep taking this blue buff.
And just keep me from my analytical point, Atlas. These fights are so long coming through.
We'll have a chat to them afterwards,
But Onslaught of Shadows onto a teleporting Karthus? What are you thinking, Cola? Why are you committing to a fight, Starhorn Royal Club? And just giving Karthus the best day of his life, just sitting there doing consistent damage. Didn't even die during the whole engage after sniping off the AD carry in the back line. You need to disengage fights off Karthus. But Karthus, speaking of disengage, don't think he's going to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for him to disengage this one as there's a Hemoplague to come through as well. Barker trying to get in a position so that he can die where he wants to. Doesn't have the Requiem available. Does land a couple of cheeky layways, and he did a lot of damage. But 1v3, not going to be able to get much done.
I mean, he was actually moving forward to hopefully find the minion wave during his Death Defile to get a bit of CS while he died. That's the clever thing to do there. So keep overextending if you know you're going to die, just to pick up a bit of CS. That's a Karthus-specific point, by the way.
Yeah. I wasn't going to take that one too literally into my next solo queue match. Don't worry, everyone, as Recurve Bow has been completed by Crystal. Hasn't been back for a little while, so he can possibly pick up the Hurricane if he wants, especially with this now influx of global gold from this bottom outer turret taken down by Flandre.
We mentioned the fact that with the Berserker's Greaves, it was Name with the minigun form was looking to DPS down turrets. Snake actually get the first ring of turrets and have both dragons. If you go for the Berserker's Greaves, if you go for rotational plays early and get out-rotated as an AD carry, your build just doesn't do what it's looking for, and it delays your potential power spikes coming through. Now he's looking fine, of course, has the Infinity Edge, but with that recurve bow, you feel like Crystal is perilously close to the scary reality of a Karthus with Death Defied, with that passive, and then the Rend sets coming through to back it up.
Yeah, and now Barker actually has that Archangel Staff completed here as well. Sorcerer's Shoes also there with that Ryleigh's Crystal Scepter. And Name's still behind 40 CS to Crystal, who is just farming this whole map here as Kalista.
It's just crazy how much CS he's found, even without the Hurricane, even without overextending by mowing down creep waves. He's managed to find so much CS. He will have the Renset build complete at the 20-minute mark, as far as we can tell, just with the insane CS values, a couple of kills and a couple of score involvements. It should be backing soon. But Crystal, take a bow, just found a lot more CS than Name.
Yeah, and he's using that Pierce to Beautiful effect as well. Of course, if you hit a target with your Rend on it, it passes it to the next one, and you can take out a very large line of creeps with that one in an AoE as well. So despite not having the Hurricane, still able to clear out these creep waves very effectively.
And I hate to keep on top of rotations, but look at the CS values in general coming from Snake. They're higher than their opponents, despite the fact that the Star World Cup have been trying to find those rotational play. They have boots to on a couple of members. Despite the fact that Star World Club's early play was around taking turrets and pushing, they've actually been missing out on CS compared to immovable champions like Crystal, who had just a Bloodthirster, not even the boots, and Karthus in general, who's always anchored to the bottom lane, to the mid lane, sorry.
Yeah, well, not so much anymore. It does have that teleport back available here as well, and it does seem like with this staggering of teleport use in that sort of hilarious ensue of events that happened around that dragon, it means that they are going to have the ability to move around this map as they see fit, a Snake, a lot more than they otherwise would with only a top lane teleport.
Yeah, with double teleport and not being punished in lane. Of course, no combat summoner coming out from Vladimir to answer the no combat summoners coming through from Barker means that Barker gets away with the teleport. We saw a lot of teleport Diana from Gia of World Elite getting punished by, say, Ignite LeBlanc laners, but in this situation, with the double escape summoners, you just aren't able to punish. And Vladimir, traditionally a great lane matchup, the fact that he doesn't put out that much solo kill pressure, it's been taken advantage of because this is rotating Karthus around the map with double teleport.
They're starting a Baron. Snake beginning the Baron here as well.
Think about the Baron damage, the drunken range, Karthus lay waste, but there's the engage.
Yeah, there's a flash in as well as Barker's going to go down very, very low. Blank actually going to get engaged on here. The Baron is so incredibly low. There's the Onslaught of Shadows into the back, and the Baron going to go down from Kalista. That Ren damage really doing some work. The double kill already here for Barker as well. As my goodness, he went down low, but didn't manage to get the kill. Crystal flashes out of the way here as the Hemo play comes in. Requiem coming down. Name's most definitely dead. Barker hadn't even died yet and just used the ultimate. And Korn, now the only one alive. 3 Barons left available for Snake. We'll see what Korn can do, and what he can do is die.
Yeah, good layering of CC coming through, but that's the reality of having a Karthus and a Kalista. Next to Cassiopeia, Karthus is one of the best Baron securers coming through from mid lane. Kalista, we already know the Renset build had Hurricane completed, already had so much attack speed. Rushing down Barons at 20 minutes feels like an IG move, but it works out. It's at 3,700 health when Zero comes through with the flash engage. The other members just aren't in position. Vladimir is still walking over. Jinx is still walking over. They get the kill onto Zero. Still very squishy from the support role. Blank expects them to DPS down fast. It does turn into a smite battle. It was a 50-50 Baron, but Snake are able to pick it up. And again, you're fighting against Karthus Kalista at 20 minutes with their core items complete, with a Karthus snowboard, in fact. I mean, at this point, no peel whatsoever for Crystal, so will die just from the Hemo Plague and the Transfusion. But the end result, Snake win the fight, Snake take Baron, Snake get everything.
Well, this is exactly what you want for taking Baron, though, isn't it? You've got the most consistent DPS in the game in Karthus, and you've got the most burst damage on a neutral target ever with Kalista. And Snake, they're going to demonstrate it one more time.
Does just fine. It had the captured monsters increased to 300, so again...
Completely ridiculous, Papa Smithy.
And they have Vengeful Maelstrom. We didn't even mention that. They have reduced damage, so the fact...
Oh my goodness.
They took no damage, they did a lot of damage, they won a team fight, and they took Baron. Sounds good reading if you're a Snake fan.
Certainly does. Thank you for the succinct recap there, as Ella going to get crit to the face by Name here as well. Royal Club looking to make something happen, but Flandre wants it as well. Cole are going to get engaged on that Hemo Plague, doing massive work there as the Fates Call comes through, as Ella comes back into the fight as well. Cola looking to try and take him down. Royal Club still looking good here, but Crystal's getting the resets, and Flandre is a beast in this fight. Picks up Name. Cola going to die. The triple kill. Beast has a drink, and Korn just going to get battered to the face with that body slam as well. And Crystal And Flandre heading up this mid lane to try and take down this turret.
A drink of celebration coming through after the fight from Gragas, because once again, Starhorn Royal Club are addicted to fighting on the death defy. They're happy to fight against Karthus. They AoE him down. They try and DPS now, and then they don't even disengage. I don't understand this theory coming through from Starhorn Royal Club, because if you don't respect the snowboard Karthus, 10 kills now, only person in double digits, that's the result.
Yeah, and that's 3 dragons to 0 as well. Snake able to turn any team fight that they want at the moment, in complete control of this game. QSS now for Crystal completed. He's going to be able to get rid of that Hemo Plague to come through as well. Not to mention all of the stuns to come out from 0 if he feels like removing that one. Just a fantastic item to keep him safe in this backline, because they are relying a lot on the Karthus Kalista damage, but when it's a Karthus, it's not as much of a problem because he dies and still contributes a whole lot to the team fight.
And that's just the great thing about Karthus. The one thing that we remembered the last time Karthus was viable is that he's very flash-orientated. Usually teams will respect Karthus' passive damage, and the only way he can get to the backline and die is to flash on top of the enemy. But he hasn't even been forced to use his flash, because Starhorn Royal Club, from that first Dragon fight, were happy to opt into fights on top of the Karthus when he teleports in. And that rhetoric has been repeated time and time again. They're just not respecting his damage. You think with double-digit kills it'd be time to, but the reality has been, even with the Aegis Forbidden Magic Resist, the armor stacking certainly not there. Only a Glacial Shroud and the Zhonya's coming through to respect Kallista's damage. Kalista already hit that 3-item power spike, let alone 2-item power spike.
My goodness.
Karthus doing massive damage, even has the Distortion Boots, waiting to be forced to use the flash, but hasn't had to.
Yeah, and the Distortion enchant coming through. I mean, I'm not even sure whether he has been flashing in these ones and it's just been coming back off cooldown very, very quickly.
I mean, that fight was certainly not 4 minutes ago, and that's just the reality. It's just not been forced to, because Starhorn Royal Club opt into fighting on his grave.
Yeah, it's almost like you were about to say they opt into dying, which is what it kind of seemed like when it happened just before. Seraph's Embrace Transform is going to come through, and I want to talk about the unsung hero here in Flandre, who's had a monster performance. 19 out of 21 kill participations this game.
And this is when Maokai versus Hecarim goes right. It's when you use the mid-game peaking Maokai with Righteous Glory, the ultimate mid-game item on Maokai to get in range of that Twisted Advance. Has the Spirit Visage, even has a Frozen Heart. Flandre is huge this game.
Monstrous.
And Kola has what? A Spirit Visage and a bit of tankiness. It's definitely no semblance of a Trinity Force for at least another 10 minutes, you'd have to think. The backline burst damage onto Kallista's never happened, and Kalista in general has been free to auto-attack away in these fights.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we were talking about. The reason Hecarim's so incredibly strong is because he gets to build that Trinity Force, destroy the AD carry very, very quickly, but you're not going to do it with a Phage and an Amto.
And look, I actually have come to really like this Showtime build, the Teleport Smite choice from Hecarim, just because, again, the Jungle Fall is fine, but, oh, that's the Hemo Plague.
Yeah, Hemo Plague coming through. Not going to do any damage here as the Zhonya's is there for... Oh, my goodness. Flandre with the flash. There's the Requiem. Going to snag Kola there as well, as Barker going to flash out of the way of the Vladimir here as well. The pull comes through as Flandre just happy to tank up this turret for 15 years, you have to think. Super Mega Death Rocket not going to find the Karthus, as Flandre, I swear, was under that turret for the last 7 minutes.
Well, I already recapped his items. He's got plenty of armor and health, so he just takes no damage whatsoever from turrets. Outer turrets, inner turrets, inhibitor turrets, all tickle Flandre. He is so tanky on Maokai, much like the Maokai we saw coming through from Lupa yesterday. And Snake in general, they just run all over Starhorn Royal Club with so much on the line. Certainly not reflected in their play this game, because they just haven't scouted out the enemy lineup. Not even the players, just the champions. They're not playing around Karthus in the correct way at all.
No, it just looks like Starhorn Royal Club a little bit in disarray this game. 11-5-9 on this Karthus here as well. Another needlessly large rod. I wish that was the Luden's Echo.
Luden's Echo Karthus has been hypothesized as being quite strong, so we might see that pick up. I think you go for sheer AP just to register guaranteed damage with your Lay Waste in that case, and the ultimate to some degree. Has excellent AP scaling even with the Defile, but if you're hitting all Lay Waste, then why not go for the movement speed and short spellcast and go for the Luden's Echo.
Yeah, well, we'll see whether that's what he is going to decide to do, as we had a slight pause, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to get that one back to you as well. But at the moment, Snake in pretty firm control of this game.
I mean, they absolutely are. And in general, the playstyle from Starhorn Royal Club, we've already mentioned it. Won't dwell on it too much, but doesn't seem to be gelling together. Blanks caught away. Baron's respawned, and with this Baron damage we talked about the first time, they're going to start DPSing it down.
Yeah, I don't think we need to go into that one again. I definitely think that we covered it. Got that one nailed. Snake actually looking to try and grab a pick here if they can. Twisted Advance to come through. He gets unburrowed as well and just heads back towards that Baron with the Dark Passage. Barker and Crystal together doing this Baron. Take it down to about half health, but they are going to disengage. Barker very, very low here as well. Korn actually getting in amongst this one. Does have the Zhonya's as well, but just gets rendered before he has an opportunity to use it. Blank going to get Explosive Cast back into the team. The Flash Play as well. Death Sentence going to be flashed out of the way off as Crystal looks to try and get some work done. Name maybe a little bit too far forward here. Is Crystal able to use that Marshall Poise? Another one comes down, and Crystal able to snag that one there as
Here
well.
we go!
My goodness, the longest death sentence in the history of things that have been sentenced to death, and Ella still gonna survive. That was a beautiful passage of Thresh play.
Clearly there was so many charges to be read out that the death sentence was not rendered until the end of a very long journey.
Insane.
Almost a magical journey.
I'd say magical journey, Papa Smithy. I most certainly would.
And this should finally be the Baron. They only need 2 members, and Flandre, who basically negates all the damage from the Baron, can tank it up for years, and this should be Snake's 2nd Baron.
Yeah, you can see Crystal just dancing around this one more than happily. Blank wants to come through for
Try and outsmite Kalista.
Yeah, try and outsmite all of this that's going on here as Blank not going to be able to, just going to feed his life there. Barker not going to be taken down by the Super Mega Deathrock, and Snake, they pick up their 2nd Baron of the game. They've got 3 dragons. Could pick up their 4th if they feel like it, unless Royal Club can make it around there to pick up the Consolation Dragon here. They do need to find a first dragon somewhere in this game, but with 15,000 gold behind, it's not looking good. Pierce actually doing a heck of a lot of damage, as there's the Requiem. Not going to find Korn, but Death Sentence will, and the Rend is going to lock him down there. And Snake just really running away with this one. The teleport going to be used by, I believe, Barker to get him into this mid lane, and with the Baron buff, with a whole lot of extra damage, Snake are going to tear apart this base.
It's 28 seconds on Vladimir. It's 5v4 with a minion wave, so I'm not sure if Snake will be able to finish just yet. There should not be any surrenders coming through from Starhorn Royal Club. Let's talk standings for a second. They're a point behind Master 3, who have 1 more series to play, so they need at least 1 win to be even in points. But because they've got less wins than Master 3, I believe that with this loss, they will be eliminated from playoff contention. They will only be able to play for potentially 9th place and better seeding coming into the LSPL playoff to try and get back into the LPL next season. So Snake, they're going to pick up a dragon. Star World Cup, they've got scaling. We've talked about that from the start of the game, but I mean, potential scaling compared to a 16,000 gold lead, 4 dragons and 2 barons. Grim Reading if you're a Starhorn Royal Club fan.
Oh, Grim Reading, which rhymes beautifully with Grim Reaper, which is this Karthus here in the mid lane as well.
It does not rhyme.
I want to say that it does. Okay, it sort of feels like it. Papa Smithy, does that make a little bit of sense?
Grim Reading and Grim
No,
Reaper
it doesn't
do
work.
not
But
rhyme.
they start with Grim.
They do. You didn't say that.
That's what I meant. 11-5-11 though for this guy. It's got a palindromatic scoreline as well.
Excuse me?
It's a palindrome. I don't know whether that means palindromatic.
It is a palindrome.
Yep. Thank
It's
you.
not
Flandre is going to use its Twisted Advance onto Korn here on the bottom side of the map, who's trying to split push this wave. Is Beast and Flandre, are they going to have enough damage? They certainly are. Flandre going to lock down that kill after they give Kalista the assist there as well. And Snake able to do whatever they want this game.
They just have so many items. Maokai added a whole Warmugs to what was already an... Look at his health bars. They're so tiny. He has so much health in this situation, and he's going in.
There's the Flash Twisted Advance there as well. Death Sentence to come through. Name's just going to get bounced around and destroyed. Blank, I think he was there for a moment, but then just gets taken out of that fight. I'm running out of descriptive words here, Papa Smithy, as the Nexus turret's going to fall down. Crystal getting very angry at this horse. The final Nexus turret now going to fall down as well, and Snake with such a dominating performance. The horse comes in, nice 4-man fear, but in the end, the Nexus is falling down, and the Vladimir going to be taken out as well. And congratulations to Snake. That was one of the most decisive victories we've seen from them, and What a perfect time to do it.
And to be honest, one of the last things we expected this week was for the top teams to actually step up and put forward those decisive victories.
Yeah.
We thought a lot of these teams that had already qualified for playoffs were going to take the feet off the gas, so it was actually a good time for Starhorn Royal Club to be meeting Snake for the second time with their potential playoffs on the line, but it did not result that way. Snake, they came here to play, didn't respect the Karthus, didn't respect Crystal to some degree, giving him the Callista that has already forced surrenders against better teams than Starhorn Royal Club. And the end result is the end of the Starhorn Royal Club playoff dream, and Snake taking the victory.
And it's going to be very, very hard. Of course, this is a best of two, ladies and gentlemen. Starhorn Royal Club now having to go into the next matchup, knowing that they're not going to be making it into playoffs, going to be very, very difficult. And we'll see whether they can bounce back from this one, because they need momentum moving into that LSPL promotion series that is coming up very soon. But ladies and gentlemen, Game 2 on the way very, very soon.